And there are two presentations. One, they're both short. The first one is by Jiva Goswami. He has written a very short meditation. I think of it in that way. In meditating on Govardhan Hill and the lifting of Krishna's lifting of Govardhan Hill and the worship of Govardhan, it's a nice. He has arranged a nice meditation on the pastimes of Krishna in Braja, one after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next, a series. And there's different ways. To me, it's like a poetic meditation on one of the chief of all of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan is the lifting of Govardhan Hill. And the lifting of Govardhan Hill, we'll hear some more this evening. We already heard on Friday about the merit of Krishna's lifting of Govardhan Hill. But the actually it wasn't Friday, it was Wednesday. Wednesday? Tuesday? Tuesday. Okay. Okay. I was in Sri Lanka, so I lost track of time. So his meditation begins this same phrase, Giri Pujayam Vihitam Kena. Who has arranged this worship of Govardhan Hill? The one who has arranged this worship is the one who freed us from the fear of Indra. Now, the persons speaking, these are the residents of Braja. The residents of Braja, they have profound love for Krishna. They don't see Krishna as the supreme, but they see Krishna as their dearmost friend, or their dear lover, or their dear son, or their dear one. So Krishna arranged, he who has arranged the worship of Krishna, who has arranged for us to become free from the fear of Indra. So you know the pastime was during the harvest season in Braja. The Brijvasis are both primarily, they're involved in cow protection, but also production of grains. Krishi Goraksha Manijam Vaishakarma Swabhavajam. So for the production of grains, as well as for the protection of the cows, they need rain. And when Indra supplies rain nicely, they want to say thank you. They want to offer a yagya to Indra, more than to say thank you. So they were, the elders, headed by Nanda, were arranging all the paraphernalia for a big yagya in honor of Lord Indra. But Krishna interrupted their plan. He asked his father, what's the purpose of this big yagya? And his father explained, to honor Lord Indra. And though Krishna purposefully spoke against the karma kanda idea, and instead said, we're not dependent upon Indra, we're dependent upon Govardhan Hill and the cows and the brahmanas, because when auspiciousness is there, there's sufficient rainfall. So let us worship the cows, let us worship the brahmanas, let us worship Govardhan Hill. and gather all the paraphernalia. And so, just by Krishna's say so, the Indra Yagya was interrupted, and Indra became upset. Krishna personally, purposefully, wanted to curb the pride of Indra because he's a devotee, and devotees shouldn't have pride. And if the devotee has a pride, Krishna may sometimes spank them or let them know this isn't very good. So he to curb the pride of Indra, he withdrew the Indra Yagya. So Indra became angry. I'll teach these Vrijbasis a lesson. And he planned to inundate them not just with rain, but the rain of devastation, Samvartaka, cloud. But Krishna protected them. Here's a nice photograph of Govardhan Shila. So again, who has arranged the worship of this Govardhan hill? Putana, Put, Putanika sa nahita yena. There's a painting of Putana placing Krishna on her lap, and then the background is the witch. Because she had assumed this form of a beautiful maiden, looked like the goddess of fortune, so much so disarming Jashoda and all the elders that she got right into where Krishna was and was planning to poison him. So who arranged? The killer of the demon Putana is the one who arranged this. Another nice Govardhan Shila companion. Who has arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill? Trinavarta Tanu Dalanam Yena. So there's Trinavarta demon, the whirlwind demon. The one who destroyed the body of the cyclone demon Trinavarta is the one who arranged this. So different demons, as we know, different demons were sent to Braja. Once Putana discovered that Krishna was in fact because she was sent to find Krishna. You know the history. Anyone not know the history? You know the history? Yes. Putana was given the assignment to find Krishna because Durga said the eighth child of Devaki has already taken birth somewhere here in Braja and will kill you. So he didn't know where. Somewhere. So Putana was sent to find out where. And then once finding, kill him. So she found him, and once Putana was killed, instead of Krishna was killed, then Kamsa knew he's in Vrindavan. So he sent demon after demon. Trinavarta was one of them. So a big whirlwind to carry Krishna away, and Krishna went for a ride, and up in the air, riding on the whirlwind demon, but Krishna grabbed hold of his neck and became heavier than the heaviest, and Trinavarta came crashing to the ground, smashed, dead. So here's a nice photograph of a path leading up the side of Govardhan Hill. Next, the twin Arjuna trees, Yamala Arjuna, Tarum, Uda Kali Yena. Who arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill? The one who uprooted the twin Yamala Arjuna trees is the one who arranged this. So one of the pastimes of Krishna, as we all know, because this is the month of Damodar, after the effort to try to bind Krishna and was unable to bind Krishna, Krishna submitted She bound Krishna to the grinding mortar and then went about her business as a mother would take care of the duties of the household. So while she was away, Krishna toddled, dragging behind him the grinding mortar that got stuck in between these two trees. And when the two trees were pulled over by little toddler Krishna, the two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvar and Manigriva, emerged from those trees and they offered their prayers to Krishna. So the deliverance of these two sons of Kuvera were part of the arrangement. There's another photograph of the side of Govardhan Hill with cows grazing on the side of Govardhan Hill. Very fortunate cows, yes? And Vatsa and Bakasura, two demons, killed. Haranam Yena, who has arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill, the killer of the calf demon Vatsasura, and the stork demon or crane demon is the one who arranged this. So Vatsasura is a demon who appeared by, and he has a shape-changing ability. He appeared like a calf. But immediately Krishna detected this isn't a calf. He whispered in Balaram's ear, this isn't a calf, this is a demon. And so he snuck up behind the calf and grabbed the calf by his hind legs and started twirling him around and twirling him around and twirling him around. And by centrifugal force, he lost his life. He tossed the calf up in a tree. That ended the Vatsasura demon. And Bakasura assumed the form of a giant crane, and Krishna understood what his intention was, and Krishna bifurcated his beak, as we see. There's details. Krishna entered into the beak because he had a huge body, but he couldn't swallow Krishna. And then Krishna became really hot, and his throat was burning, and he tried to spit him out, but he couldn't spit him out because Krishna was holding on. And then Krishna enlarged his body very, very large and bifurcated the beak of the crane, and he was finished. Bakasura. And this is an interesting animal of some kind up on top of Govardhan Hill. I don't know exactly what that is. Looks like a something. Looks like a wild. It looks like a something. Up on top of Govardhan Hill. Then there's Vyomasura. Vyomasura. Who has arranged this worship of Govardhan Hill? The killer of the flying demon Vyomasura. And the python demon Agasura is the one who arranged this. So Agasura, we all know, this Krishna was met in the course of the travel through the forest by a giant python with his mouth wide open, and the cowherd boys entered into the mouth of the demon, but the demon didn't close his mouth because he wanted to swallow Krishna also. So Krishna entered and enlarged his body so big, the python died. His life heirs wouldn't move because Krishna had become so big, and he expired. The soul of Agasura popped from the top of the head of the Agasura demon. Who has arranged this worship of Govardhan Hill? The one who has subdued the Kaliya, cobra, is the one who arranged this. The Kaliya serpent is pictured here. Very, very nice pastime. Right, this pastime took place just after the Brahma Mohan Leela and the very wonderful section of the Bhagavatam, chapters 12 through 14. And this one is 15. Right after this, the cowherd boys were traveling early in the morning, very thirsty. When they reached the shore of the Jamuna River, they went to get water, but it was poisonous because the Kaliya serpent was there. The whole pastime, beautiful pastime. So here's some Vaishnavas offering their respects to Govardhan Hill. One of the locations where the puja of Govardhan, the Anukut um, big celebration of cooked items were offered to Govardhan Hill, and Haridev showed up, manifested himself to accept all those offerings. Pralamba, who has arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill, the killer of the demon Dhenukasura, and the demon Pralambasura, is the one who arranged this. This is Jiva Goswami engaged in a meditation on Krishna's Vraja Leela. By honoring Krishna in this way, he arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill along with all these other wonderful pastimes. The killing of the demon Dhenuka and the killing of the demon Pralamba. Of course, this is Balaram. Balaram is the one with his right fist smashing the head of Pralambasura, not Krishna. But Krishna killed Dhenukasura. And here's another nice photograph of Govardhan Hill. The slope is not so steep at this particular location. Who has arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill? The one who swallowed 2 forest fires is the one who arranged this. Now you're aware? Anyone want to volunteer? The 2 forest fires? What was the sequence of those 2 forest fires that happened in Vrindavan? 2 different occasions. Who knows? Who knows one of them? After the pastime with Kaliya, what happened? After the pastime with the Kaliya serpent, because Krishna had been in the water for a long time, his body was very cold. So he went up on top of a hill that later became the hill where the Madan Mohan temple was built, called Dwadasha Aditya Tila. So Krishna spread his body out on top of that hill, and the sun shined very, very brightly, as warm as 12 suns. Thus Dwadasha, like Dwadasi, 12. Ekadasi and then Dwadasi. So like 12 suns, and his body became very warm because he was chilly from being in the water for so long. So the next day, there was a forest fire, and the cowherd boys, what to do, because fire is dangerous, and a forest fire in a forest is very dangerous. So what did Krishna do? He said, close your eyes. And Krishna just inhaled, and the forest fire entered into his mouth. And the danger was gone. And the cowherd boys didn't know what happened because their eyes were closed. No cheating. They didn't peek and see what was going on. So in a similar fashion, Krishna rescued the cowherd boys twice from forest fire, because fire in a forest is not people don't set fires, but fires happen, and it's very dangerous. And as you may know, the kindness of Krishna was shown to Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami made one of his residences by the side of Shamakund. And Shamakund is right next to Radhakund. But he, Sanatan Goswami, stayed at a place where the Shakaleshwara Mahadev, those of you who have been to Vrindavan, you know these places. It's a deity of Lord Shiva, and this particular place is Chakaleshwara. He's the Ishwara of this particular region, Lord Shiva. So Sanatana Goswami made one of his bhajan kutirs very near that place. And every day, his practice was he would circumambulate around Govardhan Hill. And he did that every day, every day, every day, every day. When he got very old, it was difficult. And so one day, Krishna appeared before Sanatana Goswami and said, Sanatana, you're so elderly. You don't need to do this anymore. Then Sanatana Goswami objected. I've taken a vow. I must. So Krishna said, I'll place my foot, that's what this image is, on a shila of Govardhan Hill, and a hoof print of a calf, and my cane for walking, and you can just circumambulate this 3 times, and that's the equivalent of your circumambulating Govardhan Hill out of kindness because of the elderly stage of Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami did like that, and when he departed this world, this Shila of Govardhan was taken from Chakaleshwara Mahadev area to the Radha Damodar temple. So sometime when you visit Vrindavan, you'll see the Radha Damodar temple have many, many deities, because Jiva Goswami was particularly meticulous about caring for the deities. So this particular Govardhan Shila with Krishna's footprint and the calf footprint, etc., is right in the front area of the Radha Damodar altar. With a few rupees, they'll show you. And there's a lot of history connected with the Radha Damodar temple. Then one more, and we're done. Who has arranged the worship of Govardhan Hill? Tasyati Kangsha Satatam Yena. The one who Kamsa is always afraid of has arranged this Govardhan Puja, the worship of Govardhan Hill. So Krishna is the originator of Govardhan Puja, and we've been celebrating since every year on Govardhan Puja Day. Now I wanted to go through another little presentation. It's different. And once upon a time, there was somebody that asked a question, is it true, I heard that it's true, that Hanuman also lifted Govardhan Hill as Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Is that true? And the answer is, I hadn't heard of it, but there is such a history. And the history goes like this. I'd like to read, because this is a direct translation. I'll summarize it, and then I'll read the translation. So during the time, because Ram's Leela happened much before Krishna's Leela. So in Ram's Leela, there was the building of the bridge. And the Vanaras were tasked with bringing boulders and mountain peaks and paraphernalia to build the bridge. So Hanuman had gone all the way to Vrindavan, and he had picked up Govardhan Hill. But he heard this voice in the sky saying, there's no need to bring any further mountain peaks because the bridge is now complete. So Hanuman set Govardhan back down, right in the same place where the Govardhan Hill is today. And the Govardhan was angry because Govardhan wanted the footprints of Ramachandra on his head. And you've deprived me of that. So I curse you. And Hanuman then smiled and said, don't worry, Ramachandra will make some arrangement for you. And Ramachandra was informed that Hanuman was ready to be cursed by Govardhan Hill. And he said, you tell Govardhan that in my next incarnation, I'll not only walk on his body many, many, many times when herding the cows, but I'll protect all the residents of Vrindavan by lifting Govardhan Hill with my hand, so that all the residents of Vrindavan can be protected from the inundation from Indra. So when Hanuman came back and informed Govardhan was very happy. And the intent to curse him was taken away. Here's the verses. This is all in Sanskrit, but I'll just read the translation. The source is Vraja Bhakti Vilas, and Vraja Bhakti Vilas is a book or series of prayers written by Narayana Bhatta. Narayana Bhatta was a contemporary of the six Goswamis. He wasn't in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he had a very similar service assignment, and the service assignment was to find and reestablish the places of Krishna's pastimes. And one of the areas that he was particularly inclined to reestablish was the places surrounding Varsana. The places surrounding Varsana were the villages of the Ashtasakis. So Narayana Bhatta found those places and wrote profusely. So this is from his writings. By permission of Lord Rama, the commander of the Vanaras, Hanuman, was bringing Govardhan Hill on his shoulder. What happened? Okay. From Uttaranchala. At that time, a divine sound from the sky declared that the bridge had been completed. On hearing this proclamation, Hanuman placed Sri Govardhan on the surface of the earth where it is presently today. Hari Bhakta Sri Govardhan then spoke to Hanumanji, "You're leaving me deprived of the lotus feet of the Lord?" Govardhan said to Hanuman, "I will curse you." These words of Sri Govardhan were certainly heard by Hanumanji. In response to these words, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Hanuman said the following words, "Please forgive me. When Indra will receive the worship of the Devas along with the Gopas, then the Lord will interrupt that worship and cause you to be worshipped. Then Indra will cause havoc using his lightning bolt. And at that time you will protect the Gopas. At the end of Dwapara Yuga and before the Kali Yuga, this pastime will take place. Providing assurance in this way, Hanumanji leaped into the sky and left. On reaching Lord Rama, Hanumanji offered his obeisances by falling flat on the ground. Then Hanuman, the best among the monkeys, upon completion and manifestation of the bridge, narrated the episode of how he kept Govardhan Hill earlier and returned back. On hearing the words of Hanumanji, Lord Rama spoke the following words: all these wonderful mountains have been delivered by the touch of my feet, but I will personally deliver Giri Govardhan by touching him with my own hands and protect the Gopas under the care of Nanda Maharaj. I will appear in the family of Vasudeva and perform many childhood pastimes on Govardhan Hill. This will be the cause of the appearance of Govardhan Hill, and it will give pleasure to the Devas. Now, there are different iterations of how Govardhan, other versions of how Govardhan came to Vrindavan. One of those references is from Garga Samhita, and we're going to describe that at the temple this evening. According to Garga Samhita, there was a sage named Palasya Muni, and he was from the area of Kashi, where it's flat. And he happened to be visiting in a mountain range in, we'll forget the name of the mountain range. I've forgotten. I forgot. So, yeah. It came and it went again.
Is it Vindhyachal?
Huh?
Is it Vindhyachal?
Simachalam?
Vindhyachal.
No.
Vindhyachal, uncle?
Huh? Mangalachalam, no. Yeah. The Vindhya Hills. Vindhya Hills. Now, I don't know exactly where it is. It's somewhere the western side of South India, Vindhya Hills. So he was traveling, and he saw this wonderful mountain, Palasya. And he saw the father of this mountain, and he asked the father, please give your son to me. I'd like to have this mountain come with me. The father was very reluctant. Palasya became angry. You're denying me? So he said, go ahead. And so he requested Govardhan to come with him. Govardhan said, all right, I'll go with you, but at any point in your travel, when you place me down, that's it, I'm not going further. So Palasya had the power to travel in the air. So he was traveling, and by Govardhan's arrangement, he had to answer the call of nature. And so he placed Govardhan Hill in Vrindavan. He answered the call of nature. He went to pick up Govardhan Hill, and Govardhan said, that's it. You promised, and I'm not going any further. So Palasya understood. That's detailed we hear this evening. So this is from Garga Samhita. He cursed Govardhan. You're very, very tall. You're so many miles tall now, but you'll shrink the size of one mustard seed every year. So for over the passage of time, Govardhan has been reducing in size until eventually it is said Govardhan will not be visible. But by the time during Krishna's time, Govardhan was much taller than today. And that's from Garga Samhita. And yeah, according to that's Bhavishya Purana, there's a different description. the Bhavishya Purana says that Govardhan is directly manifest from the heart of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani, wanting to assist Krishna in his loving pastimes, from her heart she manifested Govardhan Hill. Very sweet. So how we have different histories, one answer is there are different days of Brahma, and during different days of Brahma there's different pastimes of Krishna or Krishna's associates or Govardhan Hill or whatever. And so during different days of Brahma there's different histories. And that's the way we can account for different histories. But I was very surprised. There is an account of Hanuman lifting Govardhan Hill. When I first heard that, I thought, wait a minute, someone's mixed up. But it's not in relation to the Leela during Krishna's pastimes. It was long, long, long before then. And it had to do with the building of the bridge. So Govardhan has had some great fortune to be able to participate in Krishna's pastimes and to be lifted by Krishna, to for one major festival is the worship of Govardhan Hill, which devotees all over the world are engaged in. I don't know what the plan is for this evening. Oh, there's a plan for children's activities to worship Govardhan Hill. After the temple program, we'll go over to the Guranga Hall and the children will have their little drama and worship Govardhan Hill. And while that child play kind of worship of Govardhan Hill is but child play, it's an impression that stays from childhood. It's invested in a child, and it stays with the child. Just like a nice example, because we were observing Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. When Srila Prabhupada was a small boy, his father, living in Calcutta, took his son, Abai, by train every year to Jagannath Puri to attend Rath Yatra. And by attending that Rath Yatra, as a small boy, 6-year-old boy, he asked his father, when we get back to Calcutta, can we have our little Rath Yatra in our neighborhood in Calcutta? And so his father was really happy, and they made an arrangement. His father had a carpenter make a little toy Rath Yatra cart, and his father arranged a little set of Jagannath deities to go on the cart, and his mother arranged for prasadam to be distributed in the course of the tour around the block. And Prabhupada, with all of his friends, had little ropes, and they were pulling the cart around the block. And that impression was there from childhood, and lo and behold, it manifested in his adult life. No, step by step by step by step, Krishna unfolded the plan so that now temples all over the world are engaging themselves in honoring Lord Jagannath in this public way. Now let's see what happens. Maybe some of you are aware. If you're not aware, I'll give you a sneak preview. The Gajapati, the king of Orissa, has made a public declaration that he doesn't like that ISKCON observes Jagannath Rath Yatra festival other than the actual Tithi day. Now, how is he going to stop it? But he communicated with ISKCON Bureau, which is the entity that oversees all the temples in India, and they concurred. We'll observe Rath Yatra on the exact Tithi day, as according to the Vaishnav calendar. And that's something that can be done in India, but all around the world. You know, the govern the municipalities. Let's just say the municipality of Houston isn't going to adjust according to the Tithi day of the India calendar. Each year, different day, different, slightly different day. They'll give a permit for having a Rath Yatra procession in a particular location. You know, and in Paris and New York. Here's an interesting detail. Once upon a time, there wasn't a Rath Yatra in New York. And then there was an idea to have Rath Yatra in New York. And so it's interesting history. There was no Rath Yatra cart. And so the devotee named Tosan Krishna Prabhu approached Donald Trump, who was living in the Trump Tower in Manhattan and had some offices I don't know where. And he asked his permission because Donald Trump happened to own an abandoned railroad yard, if we could build Rath Yatra cart on the abandoned railroad yard. And he gave his permission. So the cart was made from railroad ties in the railroad yard because they didn't have any money. So Jayananda built the 3 Rath Yatra carts, and then Tosan Krishna went to the city of New York to get the permit and gave scriptural reference indicating that the most prominent street in every city should be where the Rath Yatra takes place. And they gave him Fifth Avenue. And so the very first year was for 59th Street and Fifth Avenue, going all the way down to Washington Square Park, 4th Avenue. 59th Street to the 4th Street. And then the subsequent years, they diminished it. It wasn't the full from 59th Street, Columbus Circle, all the way down. But so New York City isn't going to adjust the time that Rath Yatra a permit is going to be given based upon the tithis in India. So I don't know what's going to happen. And then it's all over the world, London, Paris, Copenhagen, you name it, all around the world. And they're going to line up with, with the person in charge of the Puri temple wants. And he's like very, very determined man. They've had their hierarchy of the decision makers, and it has to stop. It has to follow what the scripture says. Otherwise, they'll make some noise, or worse than noise. So let's see what happens. It's between a rock and a hard place. Gajapati, the current king, in charge of the worship of the deity, and Jagannath must be according to the standards. So let's see what happens. The procedures in principle are followed, but the detail may or may not be able to be followed. Let's see what happens.
I think in Houston they're doing it in the first week of November, I believe. The festival of
Well, whatever it is in Houston, that's just say in Florida. There are beaches in Florida, and there's like 20 Rath Yatras according to each location. They have carts, and they bring their carts and they bring their Jagannath deities and they have a big festival. And it's a fantastic way of glorifying Lord Jagannath. And it's not going to happen all on the same Tithi day, whatever the locality permits. That's when it happens. They give a permit based upon circumstances of their locality. So I don't know what the Gajapati is going to do. If the answer is, we can as far as we will as far as we can, and when we can't, we won't. And then he's going to do what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. Stay tuned for some fireworks. What?
If it's not the same tithi, at least the same month. I mean, whatever July.
No, somebody sent me a video clip of an interview on national TV in India of the Gajapati saying, according to our scriptures, there's a specific tithi, and that's when the Rath Yatra should happen, not within a certain month. And he's an animated and a powerful person. So and then he was asked. The interview said, "What if they can't or won't? Are you plan to take legal action?" That was a very explicit question, and the answer was, "We'll do what we need to do." It was like firm. Good luck. Some sagacious persons have to deal with the Gajapati and realities. I don't know how we got on that topic, but Rath Yatra. Celebrating Govardhan Puja. So obviously we can, because Govardhan Puja is celebrated in our temple, so we can celebrate Govardhan Puja on Govardhan Puja Day, according to the Tithi and the lunar calendar and everything. No problem. But a public Rath Yatra, that's a different story. Krishna Janmastami, Ram Nomi, Nishringa Chaturdasi, no problem. Govardhan Puja, but a public festival where it requires permits from the city, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not easy. What a big loss to not be able to honor Lord Jagannath and bring the glory of Lord Jagannath to the parts of the world that wouldn't otherwise know. Let's see what happens. Okay, any comments, questions? Yes.
Guru Maharaj, I have two questions, so quick ones. So I've been very curious about Lord Jagannath. I've been very curious about Lord Jagannath because my introduction to Lord Jagannath was in US. I had never seen or heard, being born and grown up in Pakistan. So when I saw Lord Jagannath, my first impression was,
What's this?
surprise, a very big surprise that the features and the face of Lord Jagannath. So my question is, when the local residents in US, when they see Lord Jagannath first time, they have never seen it before. Have you heard of any impression or any?
Yeah, same. Surprise.
Surprise?
Like, what's this?
Okay.
And et cetera. They're worshiping a wooden statue or, paganism, all kinds of other.
Okay.
But the my impression is that that response is much lesser than the joyful kirtan, decorations, festivities. They're having a religious festival of some kind, which that's not from my upbringing, my tradition, but they're very joyful, and that part is the impression that comes more so than the form of the Lord Jagannath that they see on the cart, because many don't see the form of Jagannath on the cart anyways. They see the cart,
Procession and prasadam and music.
the joyfulness of the celebration. Second,
The second question is Narayan Bhatta,
yes,
Swami or Goswami. Was he also a disciple of Lord Chaitanya?
no, he was from a different line.
Okay.
I don't know which line.
Okay.
I could research it, but I don't know offhand.
Okay.
And he was given a similar assignment. So it's an assignment of a line of teachers that had profound appreciation of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, and it happened to concurrently coincide with the Goswamis. The Goswamis, particularly Rupa and Sanatan, mentioned his name in their writings, so he was not unknown to them. He's not as popularized in Gaudiya Vaishnavism as our six Goswamis, but he's a well-known personality that wrote and did and established, and was a great personality in his own way. But the details I'm not familiar with. Yes, behind you.
Maharaj, my humble obeisances. It was a very, very knowledgeable session, especially about Hanumanji. I mean, that was a big revelation. I also have two questions. I am very lucky to have a house in Vrindavan, and I have been to Radha Damodar Mandir many times. So, but I have never seen that Shila. So, where do they keep it? Is it in front of the deities, or we have to ask the pujari specifically?
It's laying flat,
Yeah,
so it's from where you're standing at the Radha Damodar
yeah.
altar, you can't see it because it's laying flat.
They keep something and they keep it up.
I'm answering your question.
Okay.
Don't speak while I'm answering your question.
Okay.
It's in the front, and from where you're standing, you can't see it. But it's right there. It's always right there. And if you ask, they can show.
Okay.
No, it's not just a monetary matter. They sometimes just tilt, sometimes lift, so you can see, but it's right there in the front. So, like on our altars in ISKCON, there's the deity, and then there's a layer where there's pictures and things like that, and then sometimes there's something below that. So that's more or less where that particular Shila of Govardhan is located. And they don't always place this sandalwood paste, but it's just the impression of Krishna's foot is visible. I've seen with all the sandalwood paste, and it's just the impression of Krishna's foot is very clear. So that's where on the altar, because it's a raised altar, but it's below your eye level. Now, second.
Second question is, over the period of years, I have observed in India, we collect tulsi wicks throughout the year, and we make
The microphone is not on.
we make.
Could you help her with the microphone?
It's on.
It's on.
So I have observed that, and I have done that also. We collect tulsi, dry tulsi, and offer it on Kartik month. Make ghee wicks out of it. But I have not seen in America people offering tulsi wicks over here. So is it okay to offer here? Is it wrong? Is it right?
I'm not familiar with the dried Tulsi, I'm familiar with the fresh Tulsi because Tulsi grows regularly in the West, and temples have, you know, different places. Some have the special, like a greenhouse where they grow Tulsis, or but abundantly fresh Tulsi leaves are placed on offerings. The offering is incomplete without Tulsi leaf. Is that what you're asking?
No. My question was the ghee lamp.
The ghee lamp.
Ghee lamp, we make it out of tulsi twigs.
No, I don't know anything about it.
So I have
don't know anything
seen it
about
in India, people doing it a lot.
I don't know anything about Tulsi, or excuse me, ghee lamps made with Tulsi twigs.
Tulsi twigs.
I don't know anything about it. I've never heard it. I don't know anything about it, so I can't comment.
Okay.
Someone else.
Maharaj, I heard like Govardhan is Krishna himself. It is said Govardhan is Krishna himself. It is said that Govardhan is Krishna himself. So how come Govardhan got angry and he was pacified by Hanuman's like prophecy? Does Govardhan know before itself will Krishna come and do the pastimes, or he was greedy about Ram's?
Well, there's transcendental emotion, and the transcendental emotion of Govardhan, who serves as Haridasa Varya, as the Haridasa, as not as Krishna himself, but as the servant of Krishna. And the servant of Krishna wants the touch of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord on his head. So in that mood of the Haridasa of the Supreme Lord, that's where that expression comes from. Hanuman, you've deprived me of the touch of the lotus feet of the Lord. It's not from the position of Govardhan is Krishna himself. That's another feature of, or dimension or aspect of Govardhan. Okay? Answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Anyone else? Krishna Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Giri Govardhan ki, Gaur Pimanandi.